Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee for those of you that are new here, and for those of you that are returning, hi, besos, thank you for coming back. Today we are going to be talking about some more tips that I have for people who are just trying to make journaling more of a practice in their lives and incorporate journaling more in like their everyday life. How to journal, tips for journaling. If you are interested in this topic, then please keep watching. Specifically today we're going to be talking about just some like creative ideas to get in the habit of journaling and ways that I kind of go about journaling. For those of you guys that want to know a little bit more about me, I'm an English major, I'm an undergraduate. I'm about to graduate in literally like a month's time, so I kind of have like the experience of being an English major, and I'm definitely like very passionate about reading and writing. I make music, I write my own songs, I'm into songwriting, I'm into lyricism, poetry, all of that kind of stuff. So just so you guys know about my background in writing and why I'm really so passionate about journaling and creativity and stuff like that. And speaking of being passionate about reading and writing, I do have a book recommendation for y'all. Hold on one second. So this is a book that I just recently finished. It's called The Art of Loving from Eric Fromm. I have an entire list of like books that I want to read. This is one of those books that was on that list that I recently read that has totally like blown my socks off, and I really enjoyed it. So that's definitely a book recommendation that I have for you guys. I'm going to read like the other works that he has. He has a couple of books, and I just like the way that I liked his voice in the book and stuff, and like he had some very insightful things to say about like the art of loving and is love an art, and you guys know that's like totally my type of jam. You can probably tell from my YouTube channel, but I guess that's kind of like some branch of philosophy. But like when philosophy and literature combine, and love and romanticism, like come on, there's nothing you can ask for more than that. But anyways, on to the topic. And make sure also to subscribe to my channel, guys. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and it would really be helpful if you are watching this video and you subscribe. So yeah, let's get into some ideas for journaling. So say you are trying to practice journaling and you are just kind of stuck on what to write about. Maybe you're like not really used to writing, or you just don't know what to write about, or you have like a creative block. Allow me to help you out and give you some inspiration for some ideas to write about. So I personally think that one of the most important things when it comes to trying to create a practice out of journaling, meaning journaling as a habit, journaling you know, not just a couple times a year but like regularly in your life, I think that in order to make this more of a practice, it's really helpful to carry like a little notebook around with you, or your journal around with you. I have like multiple notebooks. I go through them like water, but I definitely have like a smaller book that I kind of carry with me. Right now I'm really into this one notebook that I have, and I've kind of just been writing everything in there. I know that some people separate their notebooks for like depending on what they're writing about. Like for example, they have like a gratitude notebook, and then they have like a personal notebook, and then a notebook for school and blah blah blah. But I've always been the kind of person that kind of just throws everything into one notebook, and that, you know, sometimes to me it makes sense. It's like an organized mess for me, so for me that doesn't apply, and I'll just kind of carry around the notebook that I'm using. At time, like there was a couple of times when I've had like a very large notebook that is just kind of inconvenient to carry around, but for the most part I use like one notebook at a time. And something that kind of helps me write more is just carrying my notebook around with me, and instead of like writing down something that I'd write in my phone normally and like my notes, I'll write it in my notebook instead. And I know that it's not always practical, especially like if you're a city gal like me. It's not always practical to like bring out your notebook and just start like writing, but you know, we can always kind of make time for the things that we want to do. And also like I just feel like it helps me remain inspired when I kind of write down all of my ideas in my notebook, and I'll use it for school, I'll use it for say I didn't get a chance to journal in the morning, and just kind of like do like a dear diary kind of writing style while I was at home because I had somewhere to be. I would bring the notebook with me, and whatever time I had during the day I would take the time to write those thoughts. The beautiful thing about living in a big city, or pretty much anywhere that has public spaces is that you can make a writing space out of anywhere that you go. And you know, you can make your writing space out of cafes, out of being outdoors. Now it's a little bit colder, so it's a little bit impractical, but me, I always find a place to write no matter what, and it's just like very natural. So if you are trying to make journaling more of a practice for yourself, I would recommend carrying a notebook with you at all times and getting into the habit of writing in the notebook more so than digitally, like on your laptop or on your phone. It's just like something different about writing something, like there's something different about writing physically on a piece of paper than there is like digital. It's just not the same digitally, I found. So that's definitely a way that you can kind of inspire journaling practice in your everyday life. And if you're stuck on like what to write about, basically you can just write about anything that you find interesting, anything you find inspirational. Say you have a thought and you kind of want to like later take the time to like reflect on that thought and explore it. That's something that I do sometimes. Then that would be a good thing to kind of like write down in your journal. So first things first is just kind of making a habit of carrying a notebook around with you. Pen, paper, have with you at all times. This is like English major 101, you know what I mean? Or, you know, writer 101, reader 101, whatever you want to call yourself. Or if you prefer not to label yourself, then I understand that as well. But basically carry a notebook with you at all times to inspire journaling, and because you never know when you'll be inspired, and it's good to have one handy. Another idea for journaling that you might want to start implementing in your life is something that I found. So while I was before I made this video, I kind of like went through the current journal that I have now just kind of see what the heck I write about, because I'm always writing. Like, it's almost comical, like I'm literally always writing, especially like when I first wake up. That's one of the major times that I write for the most part. But what was I saying? I got carried away, I got so excited. Oh yeah, so before I made this video, I went through my journal, my personal journal, to see what it is that I write about. And one of the things that I noticed that I do is I write a lot of lists, and I'm talking like lists about anything. Like you can write lists of places you want to visit, you can write lists of restaurants you want to go to, you can write lists about books you want to read. One of the lists that I have is like pretty names. Like whenever I hear a very pretty unique name, I'll write it in this list. You know, you can have a list of, you know, things you have to do, of course, if you're like trying to plan out your day and stuff. You can have a list of, like, you can make a list out of anything basically. And I find that I make like a lot of lists. Oh, one of the mostly used lists that I have is just like a list of ideas. You can make a list out of that. You can make a list out of anything. So that's like a very creative way to journal, just like make a list of something. I know that sounds kind of vague, but you know, you can make a list out of anything basically, and I think that's just like a very creative way to practice journaling. Another thing that I do is, and I think I've mentioned this in my 5 journaling tips for beginners, I'll link that somewhere on the screen or down below, is that oh, speaking of journals, how did I forget? I actually wrote something that I'm very, very proud of. I made a journaling ebook, and it's made up of like some of my favorite quotes. It is catered more toward women, but anybody can buy it. It's called Wisdom in Dark Paradise. I include quotes that, to me, inspire like a lot of wisdom. Wisdom is something that I kind of like center my life around, and I feel like is a very important character trait for anybody to have. And I include some of my favorite quotes. I have my own personal writing in reflecting on these quotes and on the concepts that these quotes represent in terms of wisdom. And I also include like multiple journaling prompts. So if you're somebody who is trying to create a habit out of creative writing, out of journaling, or if you're just somebody who's really into like personal development and, you know, self-reflection, if you're an introvert, this book is for you. You absolutely need it. I can't believe that I haven't published an actual piece of work considering all of the writing that I've done over my life, but this is like my first official ebook, so that's kind of crazy in itself. But yeah, it's kind of like my gift to all of my women out there. So just on the topic of journaling and stuff, if you are looking for something to kind of aid you in your writing, or you just are looking for a little bit more inspiration, then you should definitely go and buy my ebook. It's very fairly priced. I definitely felt very inspired while I was writing it, so I hope that you feel my energy while you are reading it, while you are using it. It's really important to like do the journaling prompts that I put in there, because it, you know, that's the purpose of this book, is just kind of inspire you guys to write more and to reflect on the wisdom that you already have, as well as the wisdom that I include in this book via quotes, via my own experience and stuff. It was very fun to make, and I hope that you guys enjoy it, so I'll leave a link to that below. But yeah, on to my next journaling idea, creative journaling idea, if you will. I would say that aside from lists, aside from carrying your journal with you to inspire yourself to write more, I would also say that oh, this is where I was going. Basically, one of the primary ways that I use my journal is I practice this thing called morning pages. Apparently it's from this book called The Artist's Way, which is like another good book to inspire creativity and stuff, but I never actually read it or did it myself. I plan on doing it though. But one of the things that I don't even remember where I heard this from. It might have been from like word of mouth, but basically writing morning pages every day, like 3 pages of just like whatever comes out from the top of your head, is a good way to like declutter your mind. Like, it's a good way to remain creative, basically, to get up and write 3 pages. And there's no particular aim in writing these pages. It's literally just whatever is on your mind. You just write out your pages, and you know, I don't even think I read them after, but it is, I will say, a really good way of like decluttering your mind and kind of starting your day off right. It's a very good way to start your day off on a very clear and focused kind of note, and I recommend it to anyone. And I have a couple of friends who did this as well, and they really enjoy it too. So that is something that I do pretty much, if not every day, then every other day, is I get up and I write my morning pages. And it's kind of like you're basically venting, but you're venting to your paper, and once you get all of it out, it's almost like there's no need to even vent. You do feel like a lot better and a lot lighter, and that's how a lot of people kind of think when they think about journaling, is that you're just kind of like ridding yourself of all your feelings and stuff, like in the diary kind of way. But even though this is the most popular way that people view journaling, there are other ways that you can journal, but morning pages is definitely one of them. And then speaking of like a emotional processing type of journaling, you can definitely try to problem solve through your journaling. So say you have something on your mind and you're not really sure what direction you should take, or you know, in your mind it's kind of like considered a problem, you can kind of write about your feelings about whatever situation is going on, and write about like possible solutions to that problem, and just kind of problem solve while you're writing. And you'd be surprised how creative and inspired you might feel afterwards. So the other thing that you can do if you want to be creative in your journaling and you want to just have a more kind of focused way of writing, is to respond to prompts. So another shameless plug, I definitely have an ebook workbook that you guys can use in order to inspire writing, that has prompts, many prompts, centered around the theme of like wisdom and what wisdom means to me. I'm so happy about this book, guys. I hope you really like it. If you end up using it, let me know what you think. But I do think that responding to journaling prompts is a good way to remain inspired, remain creative, and definitely is a good thing to add into your journaling routine. I didn't really start using prompts besides like in a classroom setting before this year. This year is the year that I started to use journaling prompts in my writing practice, and I will say that I have learned a lot about myself through doing so. So I think that journaling prompts is a very good way to just stay avid in your writing and in your creative endeavors. And also, just so you guys know, there is like a therapeutic aspect to responding to journaling prompts. as a person who was in therapy, I've definitely had to write about certain things and like share that in my time. But also just even in like the personal development world, and through books I've read and through motivational speakers I've listened to, and all kinds of self-help kind of aspects and self-help kind of tools, I noticed that journaling and prompts are a very big part of that. And I think that's largely due to the fact that it can really help you emotionally process many things. So journaling prompts, if you want to find some, you can always just look them up online, or you can find, you know, artists who are creating their own magical pieces of work and support them in the description box down below. But yeah, journaling prompts are a good way to creatively inspire yourself when you're writing. And if you want to really talk creative ideas for journaling, then we should just talk creative writing, baby. Like, creative writing includes, but is not limited to, poetry. Where are my poets? Let me know in the comments. Lyricism, you know, maybe you write a song. It's not for everyone, but it definitely is for some people. What else? Creative writing can you can read a book and try to imitate the style of writing that you read that book from. There's just so many ways to go about creative writing. You can write fiction, you can write non-fiction. That's definitely a good way to keep your brain kind of like tossing and turning in the literary and communicative sense. You like that? So yeah, these are just some creative ideas that I have for journaling. Do you guys journal? Let me know in the comments. Let me know where you buy your journals from. I personally, where do I buy mine from? The last notebook that I got is really, really cute. It has flowers on it, and I got it from Staples, and I was surprised they even had such a pretty journal. Other ones are just like plain composition books, but they're like very pretty colors. I've had a 5-subject notebook. I've had like a leather notebook, and I buy them from different places, mostly from literal like dollar stores or the pharmacy or Staples, Target, places like that. But if you guys buy them anywhere else that you really enjoy, then let me know. I'm also trying to build up my stationery, and if you guys know where I can get like nice, cool, expressive pens, then let me know as well, because I think that is something that makes writing a lot more fun when you actually like the tools that you're writing with. But all in all, I am just a literary enthusiast, a writing enthusiast, and I just want to encourage anybody who is interested in journaling to continue to do so. There is no right or wrong way to journal, like I mentioned in my previous video. And if you liked this video, leave me a thumbs up, leave me your thoughts. If you end up getting my little workbook, ebook companion, Wisdom in Dark Paradise, then let me know as well. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to share this with you guys. It is definitely taking a lot of things that I've personally learned on my personal development journey and putting it all into one place. So this ebook that I created, Wisdom in Dark Paradise, is definitely for those who are looking to expand in their creative writing, expand in their personal development journey, reflect on their wisdom, reflect on some wisdom that I have to share. And yeah, it is what it is, the feminine transformative ebook kind of journaling companion, and it's definitely just meant to help you guys in your process of learning more about yourselves, learning more about writing, and practicing journaling. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name is Renee. I'll be back with more soon. Don't worry, I won't be gone long. And subscribe if you like this video. Bye. Besos.